guys, welcome to another Blue Kitten video. Oh, my phone's still playing sound, hang on. Wow! Okay, there we go. I just spoke to myself like 3 times, that was awful. Hey all, hope everyone's well. Welcome to another Blue Kitten video on this fine late Monday morning. I was about to say Sunday evening, but it's Monday morning now. So I recently got this game. I don't know what it's about. I don't know if it's any good. It cost me 23p from the PlayStation Store, so I thought I'd try it because it seemed like it'd be something interesting. Now, you're supposed to be picking up your kids. You're supposed to be busy right now. You're supposed to be picking up your kids, mister. You're busy right now. You're too busy to be in here right now. Mr. Vade. Anyway, this is Autumn's Journey. I don't know if it's any good. Hi, Toxie. Welcome in, hun. How are you doing? Not seen you for a little bit, Toxie? Okay, so we'll see what this game is like. I might need to turn the sound down a bit. I feel like I'm shouting over it. Jesus, this volume is nuts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, it's terrible. I don't want to skip. Yeah. Well, all transitions. What do you mean, none? Oh, I'm glad you've been busy. Vade! Jesus Christ. Glad you've been busy with your uni and keeping yourself up to stuff, Toxie. I hope you're doing well with all that. It's nice to see you, though. Thank you for coming in and saying hi. I'm very grateful. Vade, you need to chill out over there. Mister. Calm your titties. Jesus Christ, Vade. You don't have to give me every single thing in the shop. Bloody hell. Yeah. It's like 1:30 in the morning for me here, Toxie. Chill out, Vade. Okay, let's see how this game goes. Sunlight filtered through the dirty, I can't read. Sunlight. Alright, babes, you rest well. Thank you for coming to say hi. I'm very appreciative of it. Get some good sleep, and I hope uni keeps going well for you. You go to bed. Don't come in my chat spamming my gift box and tell me to go to bed. You go to bed, Vade. Bye, Toxie. Big hugs. Much love, babes. Thanks for saying hi. Sunlight filtered through the airy birch forest as the lush ferns grazed my boots. What do I press? Oh, there we go. The muggy atmosphere that had hung over the past few months was now being replaced by the subtle crispness of fall. I didn't do anything to you. I did nothing to you, Vade. I did nothing at all. Though the trees were still vibrantly green, apple picking season was fast approaching for the town of Bury. I cheerfully stretched one arm towards the sky, inhaling deeply. Orally. Oh, she's cute. And thus my weekly scouting for monsters, bandits, or anything out of the ordinary that may harm local citizens is over! Yay! I did nothing. I did nothing then, and I did nothing today, Vade. Nothing at all.
Right.
And that concludes my mission. I laughed, wondering why I was announcing my agenda to no one. 'Cause why not? I guess I always just wanted to say that out loud. Oh, the phone's falling. I need that. There we go. Walking around alone does prompt you into monologuing just so you can hear a voice. I just wish I wasn't restricted to freelance work in Bury, though. How long is my training going to last? I'm more than ready for knighthood. I can do this. I adjusted the belt holding my sword, making sure the hilt could be pulled out at a moment's notice. Humming, I decided to meander back to the village by following the thin river down the gentle slope. I loved the terrain here. Not super rocky, but not entirely flat either. There was always an inclination, and higher up, I could get a breathtaking panorama of Bury and its endless orchards. Especially in autumn, when the leaves were so vibrantly red that the entire forest seemed to ignite, and the smell of crisp frost and thick fallen foliage lingered welcomely. Hi Dan, welcome in babes, how you doing gorgeous? It was then that I spotted something entirely out of the ordinary near the riverbank, leaning against a birch tree. Thin birch trees were not exactly known to be comfortable resting spots, and I did not recognise the stranger's attire. Hello? Are you a traveller? His face came into view, and I realised he was sleeping. But that's not what caught me off guard. Hang on, sorry guys, I'm just checking my phone volumes down. I could hear myself for some reason. Yeah, I'm glad you're okay, babe. Here if you need me. I'm not so bad, I'm just playing this new game I got. Cost me 23p. His face came into view and I realised he was sleeping, but that's not what caught me off guard. He had beautiful protrusions resembling shale shards jutting out of his long hair, right where someone's ears should be. Or was it just a decoration covering his ears? I suddenly wanted to touch them, but I resisted. If he woke up in an untimely manner, it would be awkward to explain. Oh, I'm glad you're alright, darling. Big hugs and loves and all the support. I'm here if you do need anything at all. You know that, though. At first I was about to leave, but then I noticed something else rather odd. From a simple glance, I saw no bags, no possessions, or anything else on him. This place was far too far away from civilization for a simple afternoon stroll. Was he mugged? And if he had been in Bury previously, I would have known. It was that small of a town. Curiosity won me over. Hello? A flicker of concern passed over my face. I grabbed his shoulder and gave it a gentle shake, finding his lack of response unnerving. I quickly hovered a hand in front of his nose. Sure enough, he was breathing, and I did not see any injuries that would suggest he was knocked unconscious. After some more feeble attempts to wake him, I decided to improvise the camp. I did not want to leave him unattended, and I knew I couldn't drag his body very far. Tossing down my bag, I went to work. The fire crackled merrily on the birchwood as I opened my cloth, which contained a lump of rye bread and hard cheese. These were emergency rations, lest I was unable to return to Bury. Mother and father were probably worried. Just as I was about to bite into the cheese, I saw movement and glanced up, eyeing the stirring stranger. Setting my food down, I cautiously shuffled over. I had previously placed his body in a supine position and used my bag as a substitute pillow. Though it was probably more lumpy than anything else, it was better than nothing. Are you awake now? You've been out all afternoon. I was getting worried. I trailed off before I start rambling and watched him curiously as he opened his eyes.
Whoa!
Oh shit! Don't do that, you made me jump then, mate! In a split second he shot up, then clumsily fell back. I caught his arm to steady him. Whoa, take it easy, you just got up. He flinched from my skin contact, and I hastily let go, retreating slightly. I didn't get any sense of hostility, but he certainly seemed bewildered. Who are you? There was an uneasy edge in his voice, not quite one of panic, but more of anger. It was then I noticed that his eyes were a brilliant amethyst hue, contrasting with his earthy hair tones. Better to remain calm. Orally, I found you in the woods outside of Bury. The surprise did not leave his eyes. They darted quickly to his hands, which then covered his face. Lastly, he ran his fingers through his brown hair. The horror on his face was so unsettlingly... He'd back in, try that again. There's a lot of reading in this game apparently, so sorry guys. The horror on his face was so unsettling that I dumbly sat there for several seconds before mustering the courage to address him again. Are you alright? Obviously not, but I wanted a better grasp of the situation. He attempted to sit up again, but this time I was prepared. Again he was repelled by my touch, and I gave up the desire to help him that way. He still appeared unstable, but ceased his sudden movements at least. He actually did it.
The hell?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. He clutched at his temples, his fingers grazing over the odd fixations in place of his ears. He wobbled as he tried to stand, and I impatiently rushed to his side. Stop it. You obviously can't move in your condition, so you might as well sit down and clear your head. What is going on? Who are you, and what are you doing here? He looked at me as if he was registering me for the first time since I asked who he was. Everything about him screamed overwhelmed, and he simply grit his teeth in frustration. You want some cheese? I decided to find another angle to help him open up. I did not consider myself intimidating, but it was possible he had no desire to answer anything. Are you hungry? I softened my voice and returned to my spot by the fire. I grabbed the cloth and genially offered him the rye bread and cheese. He only arched an eyebrow in disgust. What is that? That? It's food. You chew it? I ripped off a piece of the dark bread and demonstrated, humming delightedly to show that it was edible. He scoffed and averted his eyes.
I don't care.
That's rude. I don't want it. It looks revolting. Sorry my peasant food doesn't please my lord's tastes. Ugh, his attitude was rubbing off on me. Calm down. If anything, he's hiding that he's scared. He did just wake up in a foreign place. Are you nobility? He fell silent, and only the occasional crackle of the fire and the hooting of owls interrupted the stillness. I leaned back and ruminated over my meal, careful to leave some food untouched in case he changed his mind. Ah, and there was the apple tart too. I'll save it for later. I wrapped up the cloth, only vaguely aware that the stranger was examining my very movement. It nettled me slightly, but I decided not to comment. I didn't want to do anything that would cause him to raise his guard even more. It was now dark, and I occasionally fed the fire, getting the feeling I was going to be spending the night. After what seemed like an eternity, he finally spoke up. Who are you again? Orally, I'm from the town of Bury. And you? Kerr. He reluctantly uttered the name, gazing into the fire. He seemed much calmer now. And how did you get here? His lips curled, almost smirking knowingly. You probably wouldn't believe it if I told you. You have unusual eyes, and a strange fashion accessory over your ears. I think I can find your story credible. He flexed his hand, scrutinizing his fingers carefully. I didn't come here willingly. Out of all the places, I don't see why he decided to drop me in this low-born, simplistic... Care? He glared up at me, as if offended that I had addressed him directly. So, where are you from? I'm not particularly tied to any region, if that's not obvious already. I'm not one of you. He tapped his knee petulantly. I'm one of the dragons. An earth dragon. Oh, I love how the music did that little doodle-doo-doo, little swell thing. What the hell? Okay, for a storybook type thing, this isn't too bad, to be fair. He stated it full of pride, with no ounce of humility. Dubiously, I inspected him from head to toe, taking note of the stone-like juts for ears and his remarkable eyes. He balked under my stare, but quickly regained his dignity. Please don't tell me I've bought a fucking romance game. Oh no, don't tell me it's a bloody lovey-dovey game. His eyebrows furrowed fiercely. So, Why would an earth dragon be here? It's not because I wanted to. He blurted it out angrily, then touched his unique ears for comfort. I sighed, then tilted my head from side to side as I absorbed his explanation. Alright, I'll admit I'm not exactly accepting this as feasible, but I'm not dismissing it either. You can't transform back? If I could, do you think I would remain in this pathetic body? So weak. I instinctively patted my sword hilt. I instinctively patted my sword hilt to counter that remark, but stopped when I saw him attempting to stand again.
Whoa!
Oh my god, will you not just yell out of nowhere, mate? Shits me up every time. It was like watching a toddler take his or her first steps, but instead of cutely coaxing, I was feveratively discouraging his efforts. We've already established that you are unfamiliar with your form. Besides, it's too dark to walk around aimlessly. I'll find a walking stick for you, and we can return to Berry if you'd like. It'd feel wrong if I abandoned you in this state.
I don't need your help.
Are you saying that I can't handle myself? I'm pointing it out. Realising we were both escalating our voices, I looked away in a huff, not wanting to have our encounter turn sour so rapidly. An altar. I need to find an altar. You Heavenkind worship us, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean Dragonkind were here first, so it's only natural we pay our respects. I admit, I thought dragons were more divine and irreproachable. Care was definitely giving me a different impression. I barely knew anything about the Dragonkind, though they focused on their own affairs. You will take me there. It was a plain statement, not a suggestion, nor a plea. Why an altar? They're all Heavenkind made. How would it help you? He parried my questioning exasperately. It doesn't matter. Do you know where one is?
Yeah.
Yes, there's one not far from here. There's a cave that leads to it. Relief washed over his face, and for once his scowl vanished. Good. We should go there this instant. He obstinately tried to stand up again, but I lunged forward and firmly sat him back down. He gaped at me in disbelief, but my will was as stubborn as his. Morning. We will do this in the morning. Get some sleep and I'll find an ideal walking stick. I doubt you'll master bipedalism without some assistance, especially not in the day, and it'd be difficult if I have to physically support you the whole way there. So, just take it easy tonight. I'll even keep watch while you sleep. After my entreatment, he fell silent and gave a reluctant nod, closing his eyes wearily. I sighed gratefully, feeling moderately triumphant over that battle of pig-headedness. As Care was grumbling, I leaned over and pulled a small blanket out of my bag. The temperature was still pleasant, even at night, but it could cool rapidly, especially since it was the end of summer. After returning some items to my bag, I reshaped it so it was a passable pillow again and offered it to Care, who seemed puzzled by its purpose. Believe me, you'll need something comfortable or you'll have trouble sleeping. Worse, you'll wake up with a sore back, and getting to the altar will be even more troublesome. You already slept on it once. I think you can figure out how to support your head with it again. I laughed sheepishly at my own stab at lightening the mood, but I could tell it wasn't working for Care. Disgruntled, he lay down on his side and experimented with a few positions before resting his head in satisfaction. At first, he refused to use the blanket, but as the temperatures dropped, he discreetly pulled it towards him when he thought I wouldn't notice. At first, to hide his expression, he rolled over on his back. He rolled over so his back was to me and the campfire. I had a feeling the initial shock took a lot out of him, and I admittedly hadn't helped when he'd ruffled my feathers. More than once. Now that he was sleeping, though, any irritation I still felt dispersed along with the summer heat. I would need to be mentally and physically prepared for tomorrow. Stay cool and as collected as autumn. I poked around the fire and stayed on my watch until exhaustion beguiled me into resting my eyes for just a few minutes. Hey! Look at it poking him with a stick! Just a jab in the face, a jab in the face, and a jab in the face. Oh, please. I've had less sleep than you, and I'm already energized and ready to go. Pouting, I poked Kerr some more with the walking stick I'd fashioned for him. Oh, he's supposed to walk with the flimsiest little stick you found in the entire forest? It hadn't been easy to find a sturdy stick in a birch forest, but I had located a long one that would suffice. I had spent the morning carving off any bark and had even indented the top to make it easier to grip. Now it was my dragon prod. This game is very cute. I do quite like it. It's got quite a wholesome, sweet, like, anime style vibe. Oh, shit. The smack scared me, though. Poking the dragon. I got a trophy for that. Great. Up, arise, sacred dragon.
Whoa.
Oh, God. Cut that out. Kerr hastily shut up, throwing off my blanket in a feeble attempt to hide the fact he had used it. I decided to counter his usual scowl with the perkiest, most cheerful grin I could muster.
Whoops, sorry about that.
Good morning. My buoyancy was genuine. For some reason, it satisfied me to know that my vicariousness irked him. I could use my sunny disposition to my advantage. It'd be better than snapping at him at any rate. Stop poking me with that.
You're welcome.
It's your walking stick. Here, you're welcome. I turned it sideways and offered it to him. He warily gazed at it as if I was presenting a cobra instead, but carefully grasped it. Cautiously, he pressed the stick against the ground as he stood up. I remained close, lest he topple over like yesterday. His fingers drummed against the carved handle, and he looked at me quizzically. You spent time on this?
Right.
Well, I wanted to finish it off with a pretty flowing ribbon, but I had a feeling you wouldn't like it. Grumbling, Kerr took a step forward, leaning on the stick before hastily... Oh, wait, I read that wrong. Oh, no, I didn't. Grumbling, Kerr took a step forward, leaning on the stick before hastily taking another. With each step, he regained some confidence, and soon he was walking in a straight line, a bit with an uneven gait. He could not exactly break into a run, or even a brisk stride, but it was a huge improvement from last night. I estimated we could reach the cave leading to the altar by mid-afternoon. I quickly packed and followed him, since I had the feeling the only thing on his mind was that altar. It's this way. I pointed towards the gentle incline, and Kerr narrowed his eyes resentfully. Going downhill would probably be difficult for him. As we headed towards our destination, I kept my distance at first, but I gradually drew towards Kerr, one hand extended in anticipation of a stumble. Kerr balked and increased the distance between us, determined to progress on his own. However, his pace was excruciatingly slow, and he was unwilling to start any small talk. As the slope gradually steepened, his footing became more unsteady, and I worriedly grabbed his arm for support.
Whoa!
What? He twirled around in surprise, and I actually did end up bracing him. Once he was stable again, I sighed. Thank you for the rainbow, that's sweet. Hello, welcome in. DJ, oh, that's hot. Nathan, is that you? Your pictures, is that you? Pictures are too small on here for me to see. Thank you for the rainbow and the likes. He twirled around in surprise, and I've just read this one. Look, I know you don't like me touching you, but if your priority is to get to that altar as soon as possible, I think you can swallow your dignity and accept my help. Tigger, I love you. Please stop headbutting my microphone. Well, welcome in, Nathan. I hope you enjoy this weird, random anime game I'm playing. Right, cat. I know you don't like me touching you, but if your priority is to get to that altar as soon as possible, I think you can swallow your dignity and accept my help. Besides, no one else is around to see.
I don't need your help.
Right.
To that cave. You believe me? Everything I told you? Maybe you're just a convincing actor, but I think even an actor would drop this charade after a while. Oh, bloody hell. I've been made jump by all the punching noises and now I'm being shit up by the belly growls. Just as I was about to reach for him again, a low grumbling pierced the forest. I glanced at Kerr in amused bafflement. He averted his eyes, but I could tell he was embarrassed. You know, if you're hungry...
Shut up!
I'm not. Another complaint from his stomach. I think you'll be able to walk faster if you have something to eat. What do dragons eat anyway?
Annoying.
Meddling heavenkind. I rolled my eyes. Well, you have a heavenkind stomach now, and I doubt it'll agree with a diet like that. But it does make sense that you wouldn't want to try the bread or cheese. I doubt dragons thresh rye or run dairy farms. It was then that I remembered the apple tart. Even if Kerr found the pastry part detestable, the fruit would probably be familiar to him. I urged him to sit down, which he refused. I simply made myself comfortable. I don't know what that was then. Absolute word vomit. I simply made myself comfortable on the ground first. Here, this is the closest thing I have to something found in nature. I could forage, but that would take even longer. What is that? It's a pastry. My dad owns a bakery. You probably wouldn't understand that. It's basically a treat with apple filling, and I think some apricot jam. Thankfully, my dad preferred showing off natural ingredients. As a result, the top of the tart had thin slices of appetizing fruit covered with luscious yellow glaze. Glaze? I can't speak, guys. There's going to be a lot of word fumbles in this, and you're just going to have to bear with me. I'm sorry. Why is she naked? They couldn't have took the extra 5 seconds to animate some little clothes onto a character. Jesus. Kerr sniffed it waringly. It must have been agreeable enough, since he soon accepted the pastry. You're welcome. As soon as he started nibbling on it, he must have realised how famished he really was, because he quickly devoured the entire tart. I watched as he coughed slightly and wiped the crumbs off his mouth, but his expression was unreadable. So, how was it? Anything tastes fine when you're starving. Or, you just inhaled it so fast, you didn't actually taste it. Well, it should tide you over until we reach the altar. Kerr grabbed his stick and we resumed our trip. The extra sugar boost seemed to lift both the pace and his mood, although he stayed taciturn. As we continued through the forest, I stopped and groaned when I spotted some dark trees.
Oh no.
Ugh, those are Felben trees? Completely forgot. We should probably go around them. Felben? He peered at the thick gnarled trunks. What? Scared of bark? It'll be quicker if we continue in a straight line. No, it's not about the trees. It's what lies in them. They make perfect nests for aviteros.
The hell?
I agree, Kerr. The hell? Why is everything gonna have such a hoity-toity, dang posh name? Jesus. Thank you for the likes, guys. I think we're up to a K. It looks weird for some reason. Yep, 1K. Lush. Well, that's awesome. The hell are those? Those giant bird things. I thought you would know them. I would if I understood your names. Why are you giving new names to everything anyway? We dragons were here first, and we've already established. I raised my hand to silence him, not wanting to make any unnecessary noise. He scowled, but a shrill cry startled both of us. Oh shit! Jesus fuck! Hi, welcome, ears, Christ, hello! Whoa! It said it was going to happen and I should have predicted it, but then what do you call that?
Whoa!
Usually, food. Well, that'll be us now. Ooh, the fight music started. How dramatic. Perched on one of the lower branches was a reptilian bird with scales running down its front. The rest of its body was covered in earth-toned feathers. Though probably no taller than 4 feet, its extremely wide wingspan and sharp talons made it a fearsome animal to encounter in the wild. Aviteros raised young way into the fall, so the mothers would also be extra territorial this time of year. The bird ruffled its plume, making itself seem larger than it was, and prepared to launch itself at us. Oh shit! Shwing! I immediately stepped in front of Kerr, gripping my sword as I took a defensive stance. With Kerr's condition, an instant retreat wouldn't work. I'd have to guard him.
Whoa!
What are you? You're not planning to fight it, are you?
Yeah.
Hey, Fresh! How you doing, honey? Do we have a choice? Look out! Right. Please kill the bird, because my ears. I shoved Kerr off balance, thanks to my quick reflexes. Oh, shit. Oh. I had to hear it again. I pressed the wrong button. I shoved Kerr off balance, thanks to my quick reflexes. We now... Oh, I'm glad you're gone, hun. Did someone just knock on my door? Hang on a second, I think somebody just knocked on my door. To knock for me, so it's fine. Okay, there we go. I'm back. I don't know what that was. I thought I heard a knock. I did not. I'm alright, Fresh. I'm tired, but I'm glad you're good. I shoved Kerr off balance. Thanks to my quick reflexes, we narrowly avoided a slash from the Aviteral's talons. The wind whipped at my hair as debris flew up around us. I scrambled to my feet and sprinted forward, hoping to keep the Aviteral's attention away from Kerr. As it dove towards me, I slashed upwards. It veered away, dodging my counterattack. Kerr, I'll keep it busy while you get away.
Bring it.
Are you stupid? I'm not leaving you behind. Kerr? I need you to take me to that altar. Oh, there's me thinking he's about to start being nice to her and liking her. No, man just doesn't want to lose his tour guide. Yeah, I agree, Aurelie. Maybe if you shouted the directions at me, I could get there alone. I'm kind of busy here. I can't get my bearings in the middle of a battle. Clink. There's going to be a lot of noises that make me jump in this game, I can tell. My aggravation was the incentive I needed to keep the Aviterral at bay. However, my training had never covered but aerial attacks, and the bird's scaly form was like armour.
The hell?
Are you holding back? Well, it's just protecting its young. It's trying to kill you. You think I haven't noticed? Oh, for the wings, clip them. It won't hurt it, but it'll stop it from flying. Just clip the tips. I widened my stance as I prepared for another attack. At the last second, I leapt to the side, slicing at an angle. My sword beautifully sheared the Aviterral's thick primary feathers. Ah! Thump! The monster swerved into the ground, and its shoulder and head bearing the brunt of the crash. My ears! Ouch! It let out a cry, and I felt a split second of guilt that vanished with a yelp as the bird tried to tear me down with its talons. Luckily, the Aviterral was designed for swooping down at prey rather than running on the ground, so it could only hobble awkwardly. As it screeched and futilely spread its wings, I retreated, grateful that it was even slower than Care. I wove through the trees until it finally gave up chasing me, then sighing in relief, I looped back and returned at a safe distance. Looks like it gave up. But what about its young? It'll be fine. The feathers will grow back, and it can still hop back into its nest. Its babies won't need to eat as consistently at this stage anyway.
Thanks.
You sure know a lot about them. Thanks for the suggestion. He snorted indignantly. I already told you. They're food. Of course I'd know about them. Soon the forest was quiet once again, with the only sounds of our footsteps and the tap of Care's walking stick breaking the silence. Surprisingly, he did not protest when I suggested a safer route, nor when I walked nearly shoulder to shoulder with him. I had a feeling that starting a regular conversation would push my luck, so I kept my mouth shut and instead hoped for no more setbacks. This is it? Oh, I like how it just transitioned into a cave, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a very deep cave. You simply take a turn and the altar is right there.
The hell?
That's it? No complex mazes? No shiny sacred magic lake with a guardian or anything? Hey, we did what we could. This is a modest altar. I took a deep breath and smiled reminiscently. I haven't been here in years. I think I came here before to make the occasional offering around harvest season. I gave Care a cheerful look, but he continued forward. Ignoring my recollections, I shrugged and followed, quickly catching up to him. Care awkwardly knelt down before the altar, discarding the walking stick once he was comfortable. His eyes closed with a softened scowl, almost as if he was meditating. Suddenly, his mineral-like ears perked, and he stared directly at the statue. There was no change in atmosphere, but I could tell Care was angry. His hand tightenly gripped his knee. I know we're connected. I demand that you remove this stupid curse. He fell silent, and I looked around in bemusement. He was talking to someone? But I could not hear the other half of the conversation. For some reason, that it made me even more attentive as I tried to piece everything together. You can't be serious. So I said a few things, but... Her? Yes, I've met one. That's how I found the altar in the first place. He whirled towards me and blinked in confusion, as if studying me for the first time. I stiffened, wondering why he was staring at me so intensely. Once he finally turned away, I relaxed, although I could not help but feel anxious about the discussion. What about me?
Annoying.
Weak, pathetic, gives strange names to animals, doesn't seem to know much about Ishtera or how the world works. Ugh. Is he referring to Heavenkind in general, or just me? What? I guess their food is half decent, or something. What? No. No, no, no. You're not sending me on a pointless inspirational quest. I'm not a child. I can't even walk in your form. So your plan is... here it is currently 2 AM, fresh. At that moment, a blinding light flashed from where Care was standing, and I flinched in shock. Whoa! Care! By this time, I had knelt down and worryingly grabbed his shoulders. By the time I had knelt down and worryingly grabbed his shoulder, the flash had already disappeared. In one smooth motion, Care removed my hand and stood up without the walking stick. Yeah, it's early. His eyes seemed still focused beyond me, and he slowly nodded to himself. Did your powers return or something? He extended his palm and lurched towards the ground, slamming it against the hard stone. I'm gonna be deaf by the end of this. Oh, bless you, so it's not as late there for you then. Where are you from again, Fresh? The entire the entire cave shook. The tremor visibly and mentally shook me as well, and my heart pounded loudly. I feel so paralyzed that I couldn't even scream. Once I found my balance, I looked bewilderingly at Care, who smugly flexed his unharmed fingers. I stared curiously at his cocksure expression. What a term. His cocksure expression. What a friggin' term is that? I think that is so funny. I'm presuming that's another way to say smug. But if you turned to someone and said, stop being so cocksure over here, they'd laugh in your face. So, he barely glanced in my direction. It's not exactly what I wanted. However, a portion of my original powers and my strength are back, along with my balance. And I can actually be comfortable in this form now. He gave a dismissive kick to the walking stick, then promptly walked away from the altar. I mustered a small smile.
Right.
Well, that's promising at least. What will you do next? Do what he ordered to me do. I can't speak English today. Do what he ordered me to do, and become normal again.
I don't need your help.
I can handle this on my own. Ah, so you don't need to follow me. I had to anyway. There was only one way out of that cave, but as soon as we were in the open air, Kerr took off running with a grace and speed I'm sure no real Heavenkind could ever replicate. He blinked once, and I blinked once, and sure enough, I was alone. Oh, Florida. I've always wanted to visit Florida. I want to go to the Disneyland. Florida is literally one of my, top bucket list places to visit. I scratched the back of my head, still absorbing, what just happened? You're welcome? Burying my head in my hands, I shook out my hair in frustration. What was I expecting something from this? Well, a thank you would have been nice. I tapped my sword hilt for reassurance. That's what a knight does. They help the weak and demonstrate their generosity when it's needed. Well, Kerr's not weak anymore. He can definitely take care of himself now. I guess my duty is done. Oh, that sounds fun. Right, well that's the plan then, Fresh. We're gonna get to know each other, and then I'm gonna come crash, and we're gonna go to Florida, and we're gonna go to Disneyland. Sounds like a plan.
Right.
Mission complete. Just some experience as a reward, and a discarded walking stick. Deciding not to linger any longer, I started walking back towards Berry. My parents would certainly be worried by now. Chapter 2. Welcome back. There's so much reading in this, guys. I don't actually think there's much to the game. I trekked back through the forest, careful to avoid any more wild animals. When I reached the spot where I'd previously set up camp, I decided to take a quick break to eat. Oh, yeah. Disney World, Disneyland, any. I just want to go to any and all. I unwrapped my bread and cheese, poked half-heartedly at the grainy texture as I stared at the remains of the campfire. As I was about to take a bite, I had an odd feeling of discomfort and glanced sideways. It's Care! Look! Whoop! And he's out the tree. That's funny. Am I really imagining things? I sighed. Care, I know you're there. You don't have to hide. There was only silence at first, but I heard a slight rustle and turned my head again. Seriously, you just moved to another location. I hope you weren't going to wait till I was asleep to steal my stuff.
Shut up!
I wasn't planning to do anything like that. Care reluctantly emerged from behind one of the bigger trees. His expression looked conflicted, but I could tell he did not want to be with me again. Welcome back. Did you miss me? No, but then I realised I wouldn't be able to find the next altar without you. Well, you're out of luck. I don't know the whereabouts of any other dragon caves, nor am I carrying more apple tarts if you're hungry. There really is no reason to stick with me. You'll need to get another guide, or find someone else that can help. But I don't want to go through the trouble of finding anyone else, at least until I get my bearings. I have no clue where to go from here. A small idea formed in my head. Wait, perhaps I could accompany Care to Oliver. If I explain the situation to Mum, maybe she'll consider writing me the night recommendation letter.
Right.
Then if you'd like, I'll accompany you to Bury. From there, we can travel to Oliver. It's a huge city. You could probably find directions to other altars there. Does that sound acceptable? He grumbled in agreement and sat down on the fallen log I was using, but near the edge to leave plenty of space between us.
Look.
My master also asked for me to interact with Heavenkind more, and I've already been with you long enough. Nice to know I'm tolerable to be around, and your master doesn't seem that bad. He had an interest in working with Heavenkind. I guess he didn't like it when one of his pupils didn't share his point of view. I grinned wryly. I grinned. Whatever. At least he was kind enough to curse you with some clothes. I didn't think dragons normally wore clothes. Is that a spell, or are those genuine articles? Kerr tugged on his shirt, as if suddenly aware of it. I think it's a spell? It won't wear off or anything, will it? He scoffed. I assure you, the spell won't wear off for my clothes. It's just that I don't want to glance back during, I don't know, the heat of battle and catch you stark naked.
Shut up!
That'll never happen. Jeez, why are you interested in seeing me shirtless? If you want, I can take these off right...
Stay focused.
Please, no. I trust in the magical sustainability of those clothes, so please, keep them on. Besides, you'll stay warmer that way. Is that why Heavenkind wear them? Something like that. I pulled off some of the bread and popped it into my mouth. Kerr watched briefly with interest before hurriedly averting his eyes. Let me guess, you're hungry as well? I don't know what Heavenkind consume, but I don't think I can eat what I normally would. As he pursed his lips, I handed him the rest of the bread. He arched his eyebrow in surprise at the offering. It's fine. I had a small breakfast, and I'll be back in Bury soon. Without bothering to inspect it like he did with the apple tart, Kerr crammed the bed into his mouth. I stifled a laugh, since I had a feeling dragons had no concept of chewing. Propping an elbow on my knee, I watched him with amusement. I was also feeling a little unimpressed with how dismissive he was towards me. I lowered my voice to imitate him. Oh, Aurelie, I'm so eternally grateful. You are the best that Heavenkind has to offer, and I'm so glad you helped me, fed me, and led me to where I need to go. Where would I be without your immeasurable kindness? Thank you. Kerr coughed violently as he tried to respond and failed, and I continued. I feigned a sweet giggle and fluttered my fingers towards him.
You're welcome.
Oh, Kerr, it was nothing. You're welcome. After pounding his chest, then swallowing lightly, Kerr tried to speak up.
Shut up.
What? Before he could start, I stuffed the last portion of cheese into his mouth. I kept my hand there and we exchanged a meaningful look. His quizzical stare softened and I took a step back. It's nothing. You finish eating. I'm going to take a quick walk. I stalked off before he could answer. I approached the riverside and crouched down, splashing my face with water, rubbing my forehead and cheeks. I then inhaled deeply and ruffled my hair, careful not to snag on my braid. Ugh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. A knight was supposed to be courteous, gracious, kind, and just honourable, and help those in need. And here I was, struggling to maintain a calm demeanour. There was something about Kerr's attitude that had always got me worked up. Well, that and him showing some gratitude would be nice. Or was it wrong for me to seek it in the first place? I still have a long way to go before I'm more like Mum. How does she do it? I grabbed a flat, polished rock and stood up, throwing and catching it a few times while I pondered what to do next. First things first. Kerr will return to Bury with me. We'll need to stock up on supplies and figure out where the next altar is. I tossed the rock up and caught it again. Does he expect me to travel with him the whole time, or until Oliver? I wonder if I'm mentally prepared for this. Gripping the stone, I threw it into the water at an angle. It skipped a few times before disappearing completely. I bit my lip, not pleased with my 3-hop achievement. I would probably get 7 rebounds on a good day. I should get back. I wonder if Kerr already got impatient and left. Just as I turned to leave, I heard a loud splash and immediately whirled around, unsheathing my sword. I angled the blade upward and widened my stance. Ooh, pretty! Bursting from the water? What the fuck is water? Bursting from the water was a large serpent-like dragon, with a translucent ridge down its back. It flapped its wing-like fins, head extended beyond the shore. I gripped my teeth, searching for a weak point, but kept my distance. Tightening my grasp on my sword, I looked the dragon directly in the eye. It recoiled when it saw my weapon, withdrawing its head, but made no further movements. It didn't appear to be hostile. I slowly sheathed my sword, but kept a firm grip on its hilt. A mist formed around the dragon, and I stepped back, unsure whether to retreat or wait. It seemed to vanish as the mist overtook it, and I squinted. Moments later, I spotted a rather hazy figure.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I blinked as the least Heavenkind person appeared before me. He had similar ears as the water dragon, so I could safely assume they were one and the same. He also had brilliant teal-coloured hair, which I had never seen before. He fidgeted with his hands and gave me an apologetic look.
Are you okay?
Ah, I didn't mean to, frighten you. His wide eyes disarmed me completely, and I could only wave my hands frantically to reassure him.
Sorry about that.
Ah, no, it's fine. I didn't mean to threaten you with my sword. It's just sort of instinctive and... It's understandable. You didn't know what my intentions were, and I probably looked intimidating. Look at his little weepy face. Oh, poor weepy baby. We both stopped and exchanged an awkward smile. At first it was a giggle, but I soon started laughing, then rubbed the back of my head sheepishly. He joined in with his own gentle chuckle, and any tension we felt from our rather intense encounter dissolved instantly. So, what are you here for? I'm looking for someone. He should be around here, and he would have unique ears like mine, and... You mean Kerr? Are you Kerr's master? His eyes widened.
Oh.
Me? Oh, no. I'm actually a pupil for someone else, but I know his master well. He raised his arms and glanced at the sleeves, tugging on them before inspecting the rest of his clothes. It was then that I could see his long hair tumbled over his shoulders, completed with a flowing purple ribbon. You look fine. Ah, you even transferred. I can't English today, guys. You even transformed with a braid already in place. That's cute. He grinned cheerfully, seeming pleased with himself.
Thank you.
Heaven girl, there you are. I have a name. Kerr approached us pertinently and gave the new boy a supercilious glare. The boy balked slightly and glanced shyly away. I heard a loud splash and came to check. Who are you? I'm Ilmari. We've met a few times. Kerr gazed at him so intently that Ilmari squirmed uneasily. Nope, don't know you. And how did you find me anyway, Ilmara? Ilmari?
Well...
Ilmari, I overheard our masters talking, and Master Bedros mentioned you. So I... Kerr groaned loudly. Let me guess. They sent you. Sure, sent. They sent me to supervise your assignment. Something tells me he just wanted to come here by himself.
I'll go!
So, please take me with you. Kerr and I exchanged glances. Look, Ellie. Ilmari. Whatever.
I don't need your
This
help.
isn't exactly something I want to do, nor do I want more company to slow me down, unless you can fly. Ilmari's face fell. And can instantly take me to the next altar? I'm not interested. Go back and tell our masters I can handle this myself. But... I sighed and stepped in, raising a hand to touch Kerr's shoulder. You don't need to... You better not just smacked her hand away, you brute. Kerr flinched from the physical contact, and I mentally kicked myself for forgetting already. Right, no touchy. Anyway, I think Ilmari will prove useful. He did say the masters wanted this, right? They placed their trust in him for a reason. Ilmari shifted his eyes and glanced at the ground. Right.
I promise.
I promise I won't be a burden. And if I am, well, I can go back. Kerr grumbled and merely walked downstream, waving dismissively.
I don't care.
Do what you want, just promise you won't lecture me or any of that nonsense. I already get it enough. Promise. Ilmari's smile was so bright that I couldn't help but grin as well. I turned to him and offered a hand, and he tilted his head quizzically. Looks like we'll be travelling companions, at least for a while. This is an offer to shake hands. It's a greeting between heavenkind. Ilmari extended his hand, and I gave it a firm shake. Pleased to meet you. I'm Aurelie. Pleased to meet you too.
Thank you.
And thank you for convincing Kerr. Thank you? Pardon?
Thanks.
You have no idea. Idea? What the hell's a idea? Hi dear, I'm home. Sorry guys. You have no idea how long I've been waiting to hear those words. I have a feeling you and I will get along swimmingly. Swimmingly? He glanced back at the river, then chuckled. Is this heaven-kind humour? Something like that, but it usually elicits more groans than laughter. Come on, we should probably get going before Kerr decides to ditch both of us. I don't have any more food to lure him back. Ah, about food and heaven-kind needs. I researched it all, but I'm not completely familiar. Don't worry, my dad makes food for a living, so you'll learn a lot about it. He nodded happily. With that, we quickened our pace before Kerr could yell at us to hurry. I wonder how they'll react to entering a heaven-kind town. Ooh. Chapter 3, Berry. How many chapters are in this game? Is there a way for me to check? Oh, I can see. That's good to know. How many chapters are there? I just want to... Fucking how many gameplays do you want on this? Okay, wait. Oh, it's fine. We arrived late afternoon. Berry was a small farming community nestled by the riverbank, perfectly situated between larger cities. It had at least 36 houses, many with their own farmland, and sprawling orchards beyond the river. Of course, it also had an inn for travellers, which was becoming more popular thanks to the improvised roads.
Wow.
Ilmari seemed thrilled, gasping over every little thing while his eyes excitedly darted from one house to the next. Kerr simply rolled his eyes and remained withdrawn as we walked over to my family's house. I admit I was concerned. Their ears weren't exactly natural, and Ilmari's hair colour was striking, even from a distance. There were a few people who passed and gave curious glances, but they relaxed when they saw that I was accompanying the boys. You knew everyone in Berry, especially if you lived here for most of your life. When we reached my house, I motioned over to Ilmari and Kerr. Can you two wait here for a bit? I need to talk to my parents first. I can't just invite strangers in. Is it some kind of heaven-kind formality? Yeah, formality. Something like that. That's why it's important. You two don't wander off.
Of course.
Right. I mean it. I opened the door and closed it behind me, stepping into the cozy room. Mom! Dad! I hope they didn't leave to search for me. That would be partially my fault. Aura? Mom! I was embraced in a tight hug, my mother worryingly checking to my face before stepping back. Where were you? Your dad got all anxious, and I kept telling him you would be alright, but when it came to night... I'm fine. The reason why my scouting took so long was because I bumped into 2 travellers. She pursed her lips and tapped her chin. They're not amnesiac? Nope. Any mythical-looking pendants on them? Hi, Nikki. They have some simple jewellery, but no pendants. Dark and mysterious pasts? I'm pretty sure not. One is a spoiled brat, and the other seems like he would be the youngest of a dozen siblings. She sighed in relief. Good. I've had too many troublesome experiences with people like that. Let them into a village, and the next instance it's on fire. That's my girl.
Right.
Always thinking of everything. Where's Dad? I'm starving. She laughed at my carefree comment. He should be back soon. She leaned to one side, looking past me. You can let your friends in if you'd like. I turned to see Ilmari gingerly tapping the glass, then putting his hands all over it in bafflement. He looked like a performing mime.
Wow.
What is this brilliant substance? You can see beyond it, but it's a barrier. Not from around here? You could say that. Once we sat down at the table, Kerr was content leaning against the wall being sullen. I quickly explained the situation. I left out the punishment, since I had a feeling Kerr would get embarrassed. Here in the first place, they'll be observing our customs and looking at some of the altars we built. That sounds wonderful. I know there's been more interaction between both races lately, but I'm out of the loop now. Mum used to be the captain of the guard for the city of Oliver, but had long since retired. She kept busy performing various protection services for travellers and merchants, patrolling Bury and even teaching sword fighting. We were hoping to leave first thing in the morning. And walk the whole way? I pressed the wrong button, that's why it went into auto. I glanced at Kerr and Illimari.
Well...
I could always swim, but it's been harder to navigate in this river recently. A lot of Heavenkind activity. None of us fly. I guess we could always hire a coachman. Actually, there's a small group of merchants heading for Oliver, and they won't leave until tomorrow afternoon. I had initially offered my services, but if you think you can handle it... You mean it? I can arrange it right now. Up for a challenge? It'll be your real first job outside of Bury without me. Of course, I'll protect them to the best of my ability. She laughed at my enthusiasm and excused herself, letting the males know that they were welcome to stay overnight. I grinned and pumped a fist into the air.
I'm going to be a real knight!
I feel like this is my first step into real knighthood. Knighthood? Well, probably more like a mercenary. You get hired to protect people and make sure they arrive at their destination safely. That's a good thing. That way we can get into Oliver and earn a little money. However, if I could ask my mum for something later, then I'd really be a knight. I could have left for Oliver at any time, but I needed something important first. I was probably grinning like an idiot, but I didn't care. When I heard the door open, I knew it was my dad and immediately jumped up. Mum was likely on her late patrols again and probably wouldn't be back for a while. You two are probably hungry. Is there anything you'd like to eat?
Thank you.
Well, I'm open to anything. I've never tried Heavenkind food before. We'll try our best to make you something you'll like, Imari. Care? He was pondering at first, then reluctantly looked up. Yes?
Look.
Those, that one that had the apple slices on it?
Right!
Oh, apple tarts, of course. Pastries are pretty much my dad's specialty. He'll make some for you. The smallest of smiles appeared on Kerr's face, but it quickly vanished. At least there was something Heavenkind related that he enjoyed. Our meal was pleasant, and I was surprised that my dad even got Kerr to say more than a few lines. My dad has always had a way of winning people over through his cooking. Ilmari found our eating traditions extremely complicated, what with all the dishes and utensils used, but kept getting drawn to the windows again. If I ever let him loose in a stained glass church, I snorted behind my cup thinking about it. When Mum returned, I pulled her away from the group for a private chat. Is it all arranged? So I'll be able to guard the carriage tomorrow? Yes. Then, since I'm going to Oliver anyway, can you, write a letter recommending me for knighthood? In Oliver, there was a special guild for knights. People trained by revered knights could be endorsed to serve under the Sun and Moon Council. If I was going to Oliver now, this would be the perfect opportunity to join them. With Mum's name, they would not refuse me. If anything, they'd usher me in with open arms. My mum sighed and rubbed her forehead, already tired of the persistent conversation. Honestly, Aura, I still don't think you're ready. I'm mature enough to... I'm ready! I'm ready! I'm ready! Not only that, I could help Kerr, help the Dragonkind better. Please? She chuckled wearily, but I could tell that she was still firm in her decision. Look, I'll think about it. For now, you can assist Kerr and Ilmari just fine without the rank. I gave her a petulant look, but gave in. All right. I'm glad you're at least considering it. Thanks, Mum. I returned to the others who were finishing up their meal. As I gathered the dishes, Dad glanced towards the stairs. Will you be spending the night here? You've already done so much for us. We also prefer more spacious places, so we'll be fine outside. You sure? Do you see us living in these things? Not really. We still have some time left before it gets dark. I can show you around the town if you'd like. Amari brightened immediately, while Kerr sighed.
I'll go.
I'll go.
I don't care.
Pass.
Oh.
Weren't you ordered to learn more about Heavenkind?
Annoying.
You can just summarize it for me. I'm more about finding the altars. Which are locations you visit after you learn?
Let's do this.
Let's sleep in Dragon's Lie, Omari. We can have fun without Crabapple sulking along. I grabbed Omari's hand and led him outside, deciding to show off the orchards the town specialised in. As we walked down the road, we passed a farmhouse where 4 children were running around playing tag. When one spotted us, he waved, and the other 3 angrily scampered towards us. Eagerly, not angrily. Whoops, I misread that. Aura, come play. Another time, Chase. The youngest sibling crept forward and gazed up at Ilmari curiously. Your ears are funny. Is that a bad thing? Not at all. They're really cute, don't you think, Heather? She giggled. They look like butterflies. The children prodded at Ilmari and ran around until their mother called them back. Although I did not expect that, Omari seemed to have enjoyed himself. How sweet. Hee, they're all siblings, so they play together a lot. He blinked blankly before gasping.
Wow.
Siblings? They're all related? Yeah, it's not uncommon to have large families here, although I'm an only child myself. What about you? I guessed you were like the youngest of a dozen? He gave a sheepish chuckle. No, I am an only child too. It's extremely rare for Dragonkind to have siblings. I don't think I've ever had one that had more than 2. He tilted his head, then glanced at me hesitantly, as if pondering something.
I have a question.
Then, for mating season, is it... Alarm bells went off in my head, and I made a cross with my arms to dissuade him. Oh no, banned. I'm banning this subject. As if I could accurately answer those types of questions anyway. If you don't ask, I won't ask how it works between dragons.
I'm sorry.
Ah, right. I agree. He appeared so awkward that I couldn't help but laugh, and soon we were chuckling over our quick diversion.
Right.
Alright, let's keep going. I can show you around one of the farms. Okay. One of the barns was open. It actually belonged to an old friend of my family. I casually strolled in, pointing to various equipment. Ilmari gestured to a device in the corner.
I have a question.
What does that do? Oh, it's a churn. You use it to, well, churn milk or cream into butter.
What?
Cream? Butter? Here, I'll demonstrate. Pretending, of course. I approached the cylindrical wooden tub. I can't read some of these words. I approached the cylindrical wooden tub and touched the stave. Basically, you plunge this up and down, and it will shake the liquid and eventually turn it into a solid. Milk, cream, and butter are all types of food. As I explained, the house owner entered, carrying 2 buckets filled to the brim with something. Hi, Bryony. I saw you showing your friend around, and I thought you'd like to demonstrate the real thing. With a wry smile, she set the buckets down, and I stare at them expressionlessly. I wasn't planning on staying.
Wow.
I want to see it. Between Ilmari's persistence and my inability to decline a request from my mum's friend, I gave in. Right, I'll show you, Ilmari. Then afterwards, you can show him how to milk cows.
Let's do this.
Fine, I'll do it. I'll do it all. I wasn't sure how, but I got roped into chores while showing Ilmari around. His questions were endless, and he seemed to enjoy every minute of it. When I offered for him to take over, he'd shake his head and say he'd probably mess it up. I had the feeling he was just saying that. At least he loved the apple orchard when I was finally able to guide him there. It was late evening when we returned, and I was rolling my aching shoulder. Ugh, even my calluses have calluses. I haven't done farm stuff in years. I'm surprised I remembered it at all. I had been more focused on my sword training and patrolling duties as of late. But, did you have fun, Ilmari? He grinned brightly, like a child who had just left the sweet shop with a pocket full of cookies.
That is so amazing!
I did. I thought it was really interesting. I don't know if I'd call it interesting, but I guess I've been here so long that it's all routine to me. If I was a knight, I could do more things. Nothing. Merely thinking out loud. You sure have a lot of questions regarding Heavenkind.
I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. I naturally love learning about new things. In return, if you have any questions about Dragonkind, I'd be happy to answer. He stopped and shyly fidgeted with his hands, and I could tell he was anticipating an inquiry. No, we don't want to do the ears thing, that's weird. You speak our tongue pretty fluently. Did you learn it? Yes. From what I know, Kerr was pretty much forced to. Well, I learned it on my own. What about your own? What is it like? We communicate audibly, of course, but we also use telepathy. What's that exactly? It's sort of like projecting one's thoughts onto another person. Of course, you need to wish for that person to pick up those thoughts. Dragonkind doesn't normally live in close proximity to another, so it's useful to us. That sounds pretty neat. What are you thinking now? If you could project it to me.
Thank you.
About how much fun I had. Thank you for showing me around, Berry. It was no problem. Anyway, I muffled a yawn. I should get to bed now. We have a busy day ahead of us.
Thank you.
Night, Aurelie. Thanks so much for everything. It's fine. I had fun too, even if I got dragged halfway across Berry to do odd chores. Once I opened the door to my house, I spotted my mum sitting at the table, holding a quill over some blank parchment. I covered my mouth to Stuffle? What the fuck is Stuffle? I covered my mouth to muffle a squeal. You're doing it? You're writing the letter? I bounced on my heels and launched into a tackle as I hugged my mum from behind. I peered over her shoulders.
I'm going to be a real knight!
You're actually going to do it? You're actually going to do it. I'm going to be a knight. I halted and let go, suddenly confused. Wait, what? You changed your mind? My mum laughed and leaned back, flashing me a meaningful smile. Well, I did some thinking, and I thought, maybe you were right. You are ready. That's what I've been telling you. My smile was so wide it hurt.
Thanks!
Thanks, Mum. Love you, and good night. I look forward to reading it in the morning. I dashed upstairs, determined to fall asleep. However, I couldn't help but toss and turn as I replayed the day's events. And not only Ilmari's questions, but that I was going to become a knight once I arrived in Oliver. The task to protect the carriage could be viewed as my first duty as a knight. My first real mission. I certainly can't sleep now. I'm not repeating that noise, Mum, I just did. I hugged my pillow and rolled around, unable to stop my giddiness.
I'm going to be a real knight!
Yep, what she said. Do professional knights normally act like this? I don't care, I'm so happy. To achieve the title of knight, one usually has to be trained at a famous school or academy and graduate from there. Since I did not live in a big city that had such an establishment, I trained solely under my mum instead, and her status and achievements were well known, which is why I needed that letter badly. If she recommended me, other captains and noblemen would probably hire me, and I would serve the Sun and Moon Council. And I'd be able to see more of Ishtera outside of Berry as a real knight. Unable to remain still, I hopped out of bed and paced restlessly. I approached the window, not sure what I was expecting. How are those two doing anyway? It's not like Kerr can transform back and sleep how he always does. I wonder if I can find them and check on them quickly. Snatching the blanket off the bed, I wrapped it around my shoulders like an oversized shawl. Then I strapped on my belt and scabbard and walked out the door. Outside, it was comfortably cool, and I found the sound of the crickets and frogs soothing as I walked beside the river. I guess I was subconsciously anticipating to find Omari sleeping on the bank or underwater. On a whim, I entered the apple orchard. I spotted Omari sitting against one of the tree trunks. His ears instantly perked up, although I had a feeling he'd heard me approaching earlier. Can't sleep? Something like that. I sit down next to him. He poked at the grass in front of him dejectedly. Kerr wouldn't bond with me. Huh? Bond? Dragons bond by nesting together. I thought since we were going to be travelling companions, despite our differences. He hated the idea, though. Kerr doesn't seem to like being touched in general, I can imagine. He stared at me hopefully. He stopped and tucked his knees up, his arms resting around his legs. What about you? Is it different between Heavenkind? I scrambled to formulate an answer. Well, cuddling is something between family and loved ones. Hugs are more acceptable between friends. What did I know? My mind was full of knighthood dreams and sword skills. In no way was I the most authoritative representative regarding Heavenkind relationships. Hug? You put your arms around someone and hold them close. I mimed the action using my blanket. He nodded in understanding. Ah, then I guess you wouldn't, Aww. We'll give him a little cuddle. Poor guy's in a new place and scared. Declining Omari would be like rejecting a basket full of kittens. Kittens that all looked up at you pleadingly. For a few minutes. I can't stay here out all night. I do need to return to my bed. I shuffled over to him until we were shoulder to shoulder and adjusted the blanket so it was draped over both of us. It's not that cold out? Not really. It feels nice. So, forgot to ask this earlier, but why are you interested in learning about Heavenkind? Because your culture is fascinating. Huh?
That is so amazing!
Everything the Heavenkind do is amazing. You can create things I've never seen before, and look, you can do this. He wiggled his thumbs and fingers. They're so dexterous. I laughed and mimicked him momentarily. It's true. Our kinds are interacting more. I assume you've heard of it.
Of course.
Yes. I'd like to be some sort of mediator. I think you call it a diplomat? I've already tried to help Heavenkind before, but it didn't work out. It's harder than it looks. How so? Well, this one incident, they were willingly entering the monster's mouth, and there was nothing I could do about it.
What? No.
Wait, a monster? Yes, this strange one that smells of wood and floats on the water. I've never seen it before, and Heavenkind simply entered it. I nudged it a few times, but the people seemed upset. Ilmari, those are boats. We use those to travel up and down the river.
What?
So, it wasn't a monster? He slumped into the blanket, mortified. I patted him on the shoulder, trying to reassure him. It's okay. Misunderstandings happen. You had good intentions. And now, you'll be able to study Heavenkind at more of a personal level. I'll do my best to clarify anything you're uncertain of. In return, tell me more about Dragonkind. That seems fair. I'll try not to ask any more boring questions, though. I mean, what interested me didn't seem so fun for you. Ugh, I'm never churning butter again. Feeling that our conversation had reached a satisfying note, I clutched the blanket and stood up. You'll be fine by yourself?
Of course.
Yes. I'll see you in the morning. Playfully, I draped the blanket back over him. Even a dragon might need an extra layer of warmth in a Heavenkind body. Take care, then. As I sauntered back to my house, easily guided by the bright moon, I spotted Kerr restlessly pacing by the door. Puzzled, I approached him. Need something? Ilmari is past the river if you're looking for him.
I don't care.
Nothing to do with him, but thanks for the heads up, since I can avoid him easier. I would have given him a light punch to the shoulder, but I remembered he hated contact. Mean. Play nice. He'll be travelling with you after all, and I hope you don't mind being stuck with me until we reach Oliver. I think we'll have fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Annoying.
I've noticed. I heard you squealing, even from afar. My ears couldn't shut it out even if I tried. Haha, I'm sorry. It's something I've always wanted to do, and now it's the perfect opportunity. All the experience from my freelance jobs will finally pay off, and I'll be on the road to knighthood. Let's make tomorrow's task a successful one. We're guarding that wagon so the merchant's cargo will arrive safely in Oliver. Think you can handle it? He wrinkled his nose. An escort mission. Not the most glamorous duty, but it's honourable. Anyway, I'm going to bed. I promise I'll stop squealing. As I was about to open the door, Kerr stepped forward.
Look.
Wait, He scratched the back of his neck sheepishly. Surprised by his rather modest display, I looked at him intently. Yes? About earlier, when you crammed that food into my mouth.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, I was joking, so don't worry about that. I'm sorry if it seemed mean-spirited. It wasn't my intention. No, you were right. Huh? Kerr seemed both shocked and offended by my reaction.
Thanks.
What I mean to say is, you did help me. A little. A little? I gave you a walking stick, fed you, fought a giant bird, and took you to the altar, got ditched, only for you to come crawling back, and I accepted you a second time. Now I'm starting to wonder why I did. I feigned contemplating, and he glanced away anxiously, as if dreading that I would refuse to help him now. I stuck out my tongue to appease him. Don't worry about it. Maybe I was right about me having immeasurable kindness. I am grateful, but you exaggerated a bit. You're definitely not the best Heavenkind as an offer. Piqued, I gave him a swift kick to the back of the leg. Ow!
Right.
You're right, I'm not. But I'll definitely be the best knight. Even if I lost some kindness points with that action, I'll re-earn them tomorrow. Night, Kerr. Night. I closed the door behind me, resisting the urge to squeal about tomorrow. Okay, guys, I'm gonna save that there. Yes. Why does she look like that? Okay. Well, that will be all from me for this playthrough of Autumn's Journey. If you want to see more, I will probably do the other half tomorrow. But when I started this, it was like 2 a.m. It's now 5 to 3, so I'm very much ready for some sleep. Thank you so much to everyone who came in and said hello. I hope everyone's enjoying this story thing. I thought it would be a bit more of a game-like, but it's not too bad. It's quite cute. The characters are quite funny, and I'm quite amused. So, hopefully everyone enjoyed. Thank you so much to all who watched. Big huggies, good vibes, much loves, and everyone take care. Bye!